Make sure to check in with the community tab. Sometimes I like to hear your thoughts on some of those posts. Shooter Breeze sub number 3 says Julius Malema sentenced to 5 years in prison in firearm discharge case. This comes with 2 attachments. Let me find it. It's going to take us to YouTube, both of them. So this first video is the incident itself, where he was accused of firing the firearm. So we'll watch this, and then I'll go to the next video right after. Yeah, so that was the first video. I thought I had it lined up, but I didn't. But he was Malema was sentenced to 5 years in prison because of that incident, right? I thought I had the video where a white woman magistrate was listing off the sentencing and the fines, that if he doesn't pay the fines, it'll be another 6 months or 2 years and blah, blah, blah. But here's Malema in this video discussing the sentencing that occurred as far as the white woman is concerned, the magistrate. This is him talking about her. We'll watch it and then we will discuss it all.
Discouraged by a white magistrate who kept us here for so many years. She kept us here for so many years and comes back and blame us for disturbing the courts. We did not come to court on our own. She invited us to the court and we responded. You know, if you don't come to court, you get arrested. If you come to court, they say you are disturbing court. Therefore, you must go to prison for disturbing court. So we don't know what to do anymore. But that was not the law. That was racism speaking. Magistrate Oliver is a racist of note, and she must know that in her sleep, that she's a racist and she's possibly a member of AfriForum. That's why when you mention AfriForum, she can't hide her emotions. Yesterday, when SC Mugaitobi mentioned AfriForum, she jumped. But it was not Mugaitobi was mentioning AfriForum. It was the state which wrote in its head of argument about AfriForum. When he was responding, what the state wrote, she said, don't bring AfriForum. And Mugaitobi said, I'm not bringing AfriForum. The state wrote AfriForum in their documents, and I'm responding to what they said. She said, let me read. By the way, she got those head of arguments 2 months ago. She was not aware that by saying she wants to read inside court, she was confirming that she did not read the heads of arguments. She just entered court without knowing what is contained in the heads, in the arguments that the lawyers were putting before the courts. So we are tried by a magistrate who doesn't read, who read when you appear in front of her. Otherwise, when you are not there, she doesn't read the heads of arguments. If you read heads of arguments and someone says AfriForum, you'll automatically know that I saw AfriForum somewhere in these documents. And you can ask the question, where is that AfriForum? What are you talking about? We're tried by a magistrate who doesn't read, who uses emotions, who speaks politics, who says we are stopping people who are coming to collect maintenance. We are stopping grannies who want to come to court. But in reality, this court was never closed. The public continued to use this court. So she doesn't have any reason, none whatsoever. She goes around fundraising reasons why we must go to prison. They took a firearm which they say I used. She was not aware when it was mentioned in court that the firearm has been handed over back to the owner. She appeared shocked, but the witness who was testifying for me wrote about the firearm being taken away. She was not aware. You know why? She doesn't read. She doesn't know what is contained in the documents that are before her. So we are dealing with someone who doesn't apply the law. The law, whether you hate someone or not, you have to answer the question, what does the law say on this matter? She will not answer that question because she can't read heads of arguments, 21 pages. And those 21 pages are quoting the judgments which were written before about matters that are similar to this one. How can she read all of those judgments if she can't read 21 pages? So it's clear that even the law that we are referring to, she can't refer to it because her and reading are not friends. They are not the same WhatsApp group. She's the most incompetent magistrate who read a judgment for 3 days. It is never done. She does so because we suspect she doesn't write her own judgments. They ask a simple thing, leave to appeal. It's a simple matter. The state stand up and they do not say anything. You still ask for 30 minutes to grant a leave to appeal or not. You are not asking for 30 minutes. You are still going to ask your masters, do I grant the leave to appeal or not? So you are dealing with an invisible hand that is controlling the proceedings in that particular court. So we must make sure that she gets reported to the Magistracy Commission because the prosecutor knew about the judgment before she could read the judgment. A day before, she told accused number 2, you must go and fetch your gun tomorrow. And the accused number 2 said, you can only fetch a gun if you are not found guilty. How did the prosecutor know that accused number 2 is not going to be found guilty to an extent that he tells him to go and fetch a firearm? That's the first misconduct the prosecutor committed. The second one, which the Eastern Cape, East London sub-region must go and open a case of perjury. He lies in court yesterday. To lie to court is a criminal offense. He says, we gave the gun to accused number 2 after he was acquitted. When you said not guilty, that's when we gave accused number 2 the gun. But he forgets that when you collect a weapon or item that was used as evidence, when you collect it back, you must sign for it. There must be a date, there must be a time. So if it's 10 o'clock, they'll write 10 o'clock, they'll write a date. You look at the time of collection and then look at the time of judgment that he collected before the judgment was passed. That is the second misconduct of a prosecutor. But a prosecutor has got no duty to hand over the item which was used in court without a judgment of a judge. He gave himself a power he doesn't have. He took the evidence before the court and handed it over to accused number 2 without a judge saying you can now return this item back to the owner or you must give it to the state to destroy it. So he thought he's got the power he doesn't have. The only thing we need to do is to make sure that this prosecutor, who is arrogant and suffers from a short man syndrome, is taught a lesson. And we can only teach him a lesson by sitting on his neck and making sure that he's prosecuted and is arrested for lying to court and is disciplined at work for exercising the powers he doesn't have. And this magistrate must be reported to the commission. Why? How did the prosecutor know about the judgment? Because you are the only one who knows the judgment. Only you, the magistrate, could have told the prosecutor about the judgment. And to tell the prosecutor about the judgment outside the representatives of the accused, it's wrong. It's not allowed in law. If there is anything you want to communicate to the prosecutor, you must call the defense to come and you communicate in front of a defense. So clearly, you've got a special relationship with the prosecutor as a magistrate magistrate, and that is a misconduct on its own. So we must make sure that we pursue her for being ill-disciplined and having her power as a magistrate. So we are going to appeal this matter. We're going to make sure we go to Grahamstown, and we're going to dismiss a judgment which was poorly read and which was poorly written. She has granted us leave for appeal on sentencing and refused to give us leave to appeal on conviction. We must petition the High Court to appeal the guilty verdict and the sentencing itself today, because all they wanted was to have me sleep here for one night. But they didn't know the reason why the deputy president is not here. He is at Grahamstown. Because when you apply for leave to appeal and they refuse it, you have to apply for bail. She has a right to refuse it. Then you must petition the High Court, apply for bail at the High Court. So we've got the deputy president in Grahamstown with papers ready, so that when she says you are not getting bail, you are going to sleep here, the deputy president immediately files the papers at the High Court and make an agent application. We are not small children. We prepare for any eventuality. If she goes this way, we go the other way. If she goes this way, we go the other way. Because we know that we are dealing with an invisible hand, and therefore you have to be prepared at all material times. The judge at Grahamstown was ready and waiting to listen to our case at 3 o'clock, because we had already told the clerk of the court that we are coming. Not only that, we had a chopper waiting at the airport for the legal team to fly immediately to Grahamstown. We are fighting the devil, and we must fight with everything. 2 minutes they must see you here, 2 minutes they must see you on the other side. That is the power of the EFF. We prepare from all the fronts because we are fighting the enemy, and the enemy is white supremacists. We can tell you now, no sober judge will ever agree that a person shoot one bullet and then is sentenced for 5 years. It is because she has not read her own judgment to know that a reasonable, normal presiding officer will never come to that determination. So, comrades, we are done with her. That's why when she said to me, you can leave now on a free bail, I looked at her and I said, bye-bye, because I've seen her ugly face for too long. So I'm going, I will no longer appear before that ugly white face. I'm going to the highest court where they don't use emotions, they use the law. What does the law say? And apply the law. So we must not even look back, we're going forward. The campaigns of the EFF must continue business as usual. I told you when she found me guilty that I'm going to appeal until the highest court, until the constitutional court. So those who thought they will have me in jail, you must know I'm still around. I'm not going anywhere. I told you yesterday that tomorrow I'm going home with you. And that's what is happening. Wherever the enemy is, it's highly paid by the fact that we are going home. We did not even have to pay for a bail. They just said free bail, go home. So we are going home to work for the EFF. That's what home means. It means the work of the EFF continues. We are going to do our door-to-door. We are going to register those who are not registered. We are going to make sure that we win municipalities when the elections come. They are trying by all means to silence this voice. They will never win. Once more.
So I looked up the video again. Let me share this with you guys. This is the sentencing that went down with Malema. After we watch this, we'll discuss it all.
After careful consideration, and I can show you I have done so, free of any interference, this judgment or sentence is the sentence of this court and this court alone. In respect of count 1, you are sentenced to a period of 5 years imprisonment. In respect of count 2, you are sentenced to a period of 2 years imprisonment. In respect of count 3, you are sentenced to 20,000 Rand or to undergo 6 months imprisonment. In respect of count 4, you are sentenced to 20,000 Rand or to undergo 6 months imprisonment. In respect of count 5, you are sentenced to pay a fine of 20,000 Rand or to undergo 6 months imprisonment. In terms of Section 280, subsection 2 of Act 51 of 1977, the court orders that the sentence imposed in respect of counts 2, 3, 4, and 5 run concurrent with the sentence imposed in respect of count 1.
Is the court please?
You may be seated. Thank you.
Wow. Looks like we have a new person in the chat. Looks like a sister named Lisa Nicole. Welcome to Saturday Night Shoot the Breeze, a segment of the Bitter Medicine podcast. I appreciate you coming through. A lot of comments. I'll get to them as much as I can in a few minutes. Just let me get through some of the panelists. I have a very interesting follow-up question to all of it, without hearing anything from anyone. I have a very, very interesting follow-up question. I'm going to mix it up this time. Let's start with Buana. Buana, Julius Malema sentenced to 5 years in prison in firearm discharge case. What say you to all of it?
Okay, so this may be an unpopular opinion, but I think that the judge got it right in convicting him for what he was convicted of. Now, was the sentence extreme? Absolutely. I think that the sentence was extreme. Julius Malema, when he speaks to his people, he speaks to his people about prosecutorial misconduct in terms of him having a relationship with the judge and them colluding together. But this is, and maybe that's what they'll get on appeal on. But this is not about that. This is about whether he committed the crime itself. Now, Julius Malema is a political leader in South Africa. Julius Malema knows he has enemies. Julius Malema knows the South African law better than most people. If anyone was to ever watch Parliament in South Africa, you would see that the EFF, they know about the South African Constitution better than anyone in Parliament. They study that up and down. So Julius Malema starts to talk about law. Now, I know that Julius Malema know that firing a live machine gun or whatever that gun was into a crowd of people would have been an illegal act. And the fact that someone gave him a gun and him as a political leader thought it was smart to shoot it off in a crowd of people, even though it was over their heads, he had to have known that that wouldn't have been a good situation and outcome for him and his political career in doing that. He broke the law, and it's on tape. The fact that the white man who gave him the gun wasn't in the dock with him, that's another thing. Because I don't know why he wasn't arrested either, because he brought him the gun. But the fact that he shot that gun in the air, regardless, he would have known that that was against the law itself. So the judge is charged to figure out whether the man broke the law or not. It don't come in whether she racist or not. It don't come in whether she colluded with this person or not. It comes in, did this person commit the act or not? And he did. It's on camera. It's on camera. Was the sentence too extreme? Absolutely. But he committed the act. See, I don't mean to bring this brother up, but Umar Johnson say the reason why the school is not open was because of a Jamaican immigrant. A Jamaican immigrant is giving him hassle so he can't get the proper permits he need to get the thing done. And he says, well, I believe it's because, he have an issue with me and he hates me and that. No. You have to do certain things in order for permits and procedures to pass. You know what I mean? You have to follow certain things. You can't blame the man personally for certain things you have not done or done and trying to make excuses for it. This guy is doing the same thing. He blaming race. It comes down to the fact that did you commit the act or not? Julius Malema, he does a whole lot of political posturing inside of South Africa. I've been watching him for years. His number 2 walk away from him and join the opposition party. His number 3 walk away from him and decided to go into the radio station. Very prominent young brothers. And this man is still standing up by himself now, talking what he ever need to talk. My thing is, either you're a revolutionary or you ain't a revolutionary. Julius Malema has not decided what he want to be yet. Either you're going to go through the right procedure, you're going to be a part of parliament and try to get laws passed, or you're going to go the Mugabe way, go to the bush, fight the boys, and take it. And that's even worse than a 5-year sentence. When the Nelson Mandela and Mugabe them was fighting against the boys, it wasn't an issue of them trying to get 5-year sentence for posturing and shooting guns off or whatever. What they was doing was life or death. Life or death. Either I can live to see a South Africa I want, or I can die fighting for it. You know, this man continues to posture like a revolutionary, but his actions to me, sometimes it seems like you just trying to throw a party and get the people them to excited, and then after that, you just making a bunch of noise. It's a lot of bluster, and I ain't seeing no real follow through. You need to, what do you want to be? What do you want to be? Do you want to be a part of the system, the institutions of South Africa, or you can go away and say, well, we're going to take it. We're going to stop asking for land. We're going to stop asking for this and that, and we're going to just take it. You have to decide what you want to be. And his enemies say, you know what? We don't want him to be publicly exposed. We don't want to give him no more public exposure. So we're going to use the tools that we have to get rid of him. Now, with this sentence, if he is convicted, he can't go back to parliament no more. He'll have a felony on his jacket. He can't be, I don't know if he could be a political leader of that party itself, but he can't be a parliamentarian no more. You know, so you have to protect yourself in all the things that I would think you have to protect yourself in all the things you do as a political leader, and certain things are not wise to do. Now, he may have made a mistake, but this mistake may cost him 5 years. You know, and I'm thinking you should, in my mind, you should be thinking one step ahead of your enemies, you know, because then you know they're gonna come after you. But the thing in him getting sentenced, I believe, is in his own doing. His own actions cause him to be where he is right now, and he shouldn't have done that, you know. But I do believe 5 years is a long time for what he was charged of, and I'm asking, why isn't the white man brought to justice as well? Who gave him that gun to shoot off? He needs to be in the dock along with Julius Malema, getting sentenced as well. But that's my views on Malema.
You know, Buana, I was reminded of there's an artist in America, black artist named Childish Gambino, and he had a song that was a big hit song called "This Is America," and in it, you know, there's a scene where he gets an AK-47, which is what Malema was firing, and he shoots it off, and no one talks about who gave him the gun. In the video, he just gets a gun from off screen, and no one talks about who gave him the gun. And it's the same thing here with Malema. No one's talking about the white boy who hands him the gun, then goes and takes the gun and does whatever with it. The white boy should be up there too, but that's not the follow-up question. I have a real good follow-up question to this after we heard everyone. Real quick, Provide Triggers for Evolution. She did comment on the post I put up on the community tab. She said, my comments remain the same. This says much about power dynamics, about timing vis-a-vis Trump's demands about a year ago at the White House, as well as the future of the EFF as a major political party in South Africa. The sister Lisa Nicole says, why aren't the people protesting against his sentence? I'm sure some of our panelists are going to discuss that as well. Lastly, Provide Trigger says, this case is very disheartening to me as I travel to SA or South Africa regularly. The state of African governance is often very frustrating, and we need to do something to take our continent back no later than 2050. There's more comments. I'll try to get to them. Let me hear from all the panelists first. I Can Fire, what say you to what you just saw?
Yeah. it's obvious that it was bogus. It was a bogus situation, and it was a targeting and it's also political because next year is the elections, and it's between, to me, the winning parties is gonna be between the MK party and EFF, because nobody gonna vote for the DA in general. You feel me? And EFF and AES, or the ANC, I don't see. The people would be like very, very stupid to vote for Ramaphosa. It must be a different person in his position, but that to me, the ANC couldn't win again. You feel me? So I think if it's gonna be like how it is, and Ramaphosa is not gonna step down, EFF or MK party gonna win. But and it's the case is bogus because he's saying that he got bailed out. You can't bail out a convicted individual. So he went above their head and used the Constitution to disregard their ruling practically. You feel me? So what I want to say is, on a more radical note, and on a more psychological note, he lost the first election by the way he behaved. You feel me? He knows he have a xenophobic people to deal with, right? And then he stand ten toes down on illegal immigrant, the preference of our pro illegal immigrant. If me personally, I would have ran a whole scheme to win. You feel me? If the people is saying, hey, they are anti-immigrant, I'm suddenly gonna become anti-immigrant. You feel me? In terms of, yeah, I'm gonna try to get a lot of them deported and all that stuff. As soon as I win, all that would stop, but I would go ahead and look for illegal white people and deport them. You feel me? Again, before the elections at that time, to me, I saw it plainly that there is no way they're gonna allow the EFF to win. There's a whole bunch of money in this whole thing. You feel me? And the white people control the money. So just like Guana said, it's like when it comes to South Africa, you really have to start thinking about taking the bush, because you have to dethrone white people in your country. You have to. It's like there's no other way. So I think that he should have found a way to the Ukraine war is going on. He should have found a way to send 100,000 or something EFF young youths to Russia, and go train and go to the battlefield and harden up. You feel me? For the future revolution. I don't know if you all noticed that there was camps, military camps found in South Africa, in all different bushes after the election. My assessment of that is the white people was training terrorist organizations in case the EFF win, they would militarily either take over or destabilize the government using proxy terrorist organization, like what they're doing in Mozambique. You feel me? So I think that they should have sent some dudes over there, because this election, I doubt if they're gonna win either, because these white people is going to start some type of war before the EFF win. Because the EFF is actually their greatest danger. You feel me? Their greatest danger is the EFF. You feel me? Even though I think he is reckless, and part of the reason why he losing is because he joined sides with the homosexuals. So that part he just disgusts me right there. You feel me? I don't know where they at. They just loose. He even stopped talking in certain conscious manner. You feel me? I think he's kind of softened. You feel me? He was never a real revolutionary. So I actually don't have no hopes, but he should have made sure, listen, Russia can send back 50,000, 100,000 hardened soldiers for him to hold off a section of South Africa for the blacks and fucking maybe confront these crackers in Cape Town. You feel me? But okay, that's it for me.
Yeah, but I can. You want him to get one set of crackers to subdue the other set of crackers in South Africa. That's the stuff. That's the stuff that me personally, I don't like that. I think again, this is where, and someone's going to talk about it in a minute. But this is where black men gotta step up. Well, where's the black men in South Africa to go and say, "Fuck that"? You cannot arrest. You are not imprisoning this guy. You know what I mean?
This how I look at it. This how I look at it. Outlaw, right? There is a traditional military structure that white people have in South Africa. Don't business about whatever nobody says. All white people have pure guns in their house. They are they are sharpshooters. They are all of that. You can't deal with these people the old way. You have to deal with them on the same level that they're at. And not only that, when it comes to Russia, right? The reason why I totally respect Russia is nobody speaks Russian. There's no section of Africa that speaks Russian like how they speak Afrikaner in and English in South Africa, right? So if you want to know who your enemies, just talk and you will know who your enemies. Any language you speak in, that's your enemy, as long as it's not your mother tongue. Any language you speak in, that's your enemy's language. And nobody is speaking Russian nor China. So I trust these people in terms of the what you call a option over Western Europeans and American armory. You feel me? So that's why I speak this way. You feel me? And also,
I
go. Yes, sir.
I hear you, but uh, I don't believe that this one set of white folks is going to come and subdue this next set of white folks for black folks, for Africans in that area. I hear you about the language thing. I just don't see it. And also, I think it comes to a point where you just got to do it yourself, man. You gotta figure it out. You gotta figure out how to do it yourself. But I'm gonna go to the other panelists and I'll let you follow up after I hear from everyone. All right. In the chat, Trigger Happy says South Africa is only a country that is black in composition, but not by control. Sister Lisa says I can't imagine being the majority and not setting the record straight. Provide Triggers for Evolution says the black majority needs to take control of South Africa's jurisprudential branch. All this under a black majority in government. So right now, there's a black majority in government in South Africa, and this guy Malema, who some people have said believed to be an actor, he's being rolled out Uh, he's being rolled out into court and sentenced to 5 years. With that said, Sister Cheryl, what would you like to say about this?
Oh Lord. Like, oh, do you know where to start? First of all, I do want to just shout out Malema because Malema is one of the only people on the African continent that's actively calling out white supremacy. Like he's like, put your foot on their necks type energy. Like he is that energy. You know, he has some flaws here and there, but he is that energy that South Africa needs, apparently. I don't know too much about South Africa, and I'm being ignorant here, except for what I see when I be looking at Netflix and I see the movies and stuff like that. And I know about apartheid, I know about all of that, I know about all those things. But in terms of what's going on there right now, I don't know. I don't know everything. But what I do know is uh he's that energy. He is that, he stands up. He is literally he's a real Pan Africanist. Like he be standing up for black people everywhere. And the African Americans, Caribbeans, he see black people as black people. And that's, for me, that's very rare that a person, especially coming out of the continent, especially. So I give him his props on that. Now, the brother, he brought up something about Malema being an ally with the I didn't know that, with the LGBT thing. My husband said something about that. I was just like, whoa, I didn't know that. That's a problem. Um, but also we got to take everything into account, everything that's going on right now. And someone said the election's coming up, so um they're looking to keep him quiet. They're looking to silence him, right? Because you gotta remember, yeah, white people only make up the Boers there, or whatever they are. They only make up what, 7% of the population? They're like 83% of the population, or something. Black people make up like this. There is no reason that nobody should have stood, that no black person should have stood up for this man. I don't. It doesn't. Listen. This is South Africa. It's 82% African black. You got Zulus, you got Sosa, you got all these freaking tribes there, and you got all these African people there. You telling me no one stood up? This like what is going on? No one has any outrage.
Go in the prison.
That's why they need his energy, and that's why they put him up for 5 years. Forget about, oh well, if he's breaking the law, well, technically it's his fault. You know what? Black people can't just stand on the sidelines and just be like, oh, let me just follow all the rules. Let me just be so good, and the white people will leave me alone. No, we can't keep doing that. This is their land. This is not the Boers' land. So when Europeans are in their land and Europeans they do something against their laws, do they always enforce it? Absolutely not. So if he's doing something and in celebration, he didn't harm anybody, he didn't do anything wrong, forget what the law is. The African people should be the law. He didn't do anything wrong to anybody. Okay, no harm, no violence came to anybody. He was just celebrating. And like we can't keep playing good guy, bad guy. Okay, we're, oh, we just gotta follow the rules and everything will be fine. No, because that's never the case. When you follow the rules, you end up messed up anyway. So what is that? What is that? The African man should be the law in that country, but it's not. It's this woman, and I just looked her up. Her name is Toinette Olivier, right? She was the magistrate that sentenced him to 5 years. They need to get her up out of there. Absolutely, they need to get her up out of there. Like yesterday, because that's ridiculous. If she wasn't there, this wouldn't even be a problem. But it's a problem because the elections are coming up, and he's a strong voice, regardless of what he's done. I know he's done some things don't make sense with this LGBT thing. That don't make no sense. Maybe he is getting kind of soft. Someone said that. I agree with that. But this man has the energy that South Africa needs because I'm sure they have revolutionary people in South Africa, but it's not enough. Like he's that person, and that's why they're doing this. 5 years that's exactly why they're doing this. Come on, like we can't be on this law thing. Well, you violated Parliament, so therefore it's his fault. Well, it would never happen. If this didn't happen, they would have got him for something else. He would have did something else. They would have tried to get him for something else. It's always going to be something up into the elections. If they're going to try to get him for something, you can't just walk on pins and needles, just hoping, just doing the right thing all the time, 24/7, hoping that, nothing's gonna happen. No, they're gonna, if nothing happens, they'll make something up. And that's why you gotta get them out of there. You gotta get them boards up out of there. And that's the end of it.
I appreciate that, Sister Cheryl. That's the kind of energy I like to hear folks talk about. But again, I have a follow up for everyone after we've heard all points. Let's welcome in our brother Bakari this week. Brother Bakari, how are you?
I'm absolutely magnificent, man. Peace to everybody on the panel and in the chat. I'm gonna say what Bawana said made sense to a point about it's against the law, you got to follow the law. But then on the other hand, if you're thinking about revolution, you got to say the hell with their law. Maybe Malema was shooting that gun, and this is just me thinking from the outside. Let's see what my people gonna do. Right? See, here's the thing, and I listen to what everybody said, right? See, I'm not looking for no damn Russian or Chinese ally when you ain't got that. When we act like we don't have the sense God gave a goat to ally with ourselves first, but we want some outside to come fix you. There's no way Malema should be imprisoned, regardless of what they said. There's no way. See, I ain't even got to look for the white boy. I heard Koku say that. Ain't nobody said nothing about the white boy that gave the gun. You're right. But I ain't even got to worry about the white boy that gave the gun. What about all those black people? They let them snatch up Nelson Mandela. Stephen Biko was in South Africa, right?
Yes, sir.
And now Julius Malema. What's the difference in them now? The difference in what they do over there to black folk and what they do over here to black folk is over there we're the huge majority. Over here, we're not. But still, around the world, look what they can do to us. Do y'all remember that it don't make a difference who it is? That damn mountain of gold they found in Uganda, they had to give some to China because China said all of it should be ours because y'all used our machine. We just bend our knee and bow our head to any damn body. Anybody can just come push black folk over in a place where you're 88% of the population. And somebody, I don't give a damn how many times he done said something about the LGBT. I don't give a damn. Somebody who stand up and speak out, act like he want to fight for you. They've been watching him. They've been coming after him. And y'all will let them just put him, 88% of the population, and y'all would just let them put him into the disrespect that black folk take, then turn and want to fight one another. The damn lunatic in office here, his friend, the guy that bought Twitter, refused to shake the South African president's hand. In whatever meeting they was in, he was still allowed to be there. He was still allowed to be there. This is why, and I'm going to say this and stop. This is why, Ain't nobody, none of you, because I call it the black KKK, the coons, clowns, and cowards. That's why can't nobody get me on social media to start talking negative about black women when black men take this type of disrespect from other men all around the damn world. Anybody can treat us any way they want to. Anybody. We ain't let our nuts hang yet. We talk shit to each other. Man, I hear the mic, man.
I can tell the frustration within Brother Bukhari. Now, I'm going to let everyone who wants to give a follow-up to this have at it. I see some people had some comments towards Buana in the chat and stuff like that. But, as Gaviites, Gavi once said himself, and you guys tell me in your responses if you agree or disagree, Gavi said that we should respect the laws of the land. Is this a case where we disagree with Gavi, or do we agree with Gavi in this manner? I'm going to let Buana go first because a lot of the comments was directed towards him, but I know Aiken has stuff to add after probably Bukhari and Sister Cheryl. So Buana, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not an issue of respecting the law or whatever. When Nelson Mandela came to office, they decided to go to a vote. Nelson Mandela said he wanted a rainbow nation. A rainbow nation included white people to live inside of that nation, Indian people to live inside that nation, and a majority of black people live in that nation. So it turned from a white law or white laws of the country, which many of them they got rid of in terms of apartheid, to the country was a rainbow nation. The white people didn't decide that. The black people decided to have a society like that. The black people. Julius Malema is a parliamentarian. Parliamentarian, what do? They create laws and they say, we don't want these laws. If you want to live in this society without certain laws being on the books, you go before you bring a bill to parliament and you get rid of that law. So you could shoot as many AK-47s in the air as you wish to. Julius Malema participates in the making of laws as a parliamentarian. If you don't want that law there, then get rid of it. If you don't want to follow the laws and rules of your country, don't sit in parliament. Because if you sit in parliament, you're agreeing to be subject to the laws of that nation. You're agreeing to it. If you want to be a revolutionary and upset the apple cart and change the nation or whatever, you go to the bush and say, we don't like the parliamentarian system. We don't like the laws and rules of South Africa. Therefore, we're going to create another kind of situation here. You can't have it both ways as a parliamentarian, sitting in parliament, agreeing to the laws of a country, and then being a revolutionary on Friday and say, oh, we're going to act like this and we're going to do whatever the hell we want to do. It doesn't work that way. Jacob Zuma, the former president of South Africa, was sent to prison because of the corruption he was doing inside South Africa. He was breaking the laws of the country. He wasn't breaking the white laws or the black laws. He was breaking South African laws. So he went to jail because of the crimes he was committing in South Africa. If people don't want law and order in their society, fine, get rid of it. Fight against it. Be a revolutionary. But don't sit in parliament and tell me one day we're going to follow these laws, because he's heavy on law and order in parliament and rules of procedure in one instance. And in another instance, the hell with the white man law, the hell with the laws of the country, we're going to do whatever the hell we want to do. You'll have chaos in your society. And this is not a motive. It's something that you either want or you don't want. It's nothing to be emotional about it at all. You know what I mean? If you want laws of the country that permit you to shoot guns in a crowded space, then bring the bill as a parliamentarian and say, well, we don't want this law anymore. See, when this is the black man thing. The black man say, F the law, we're gonna do whatever the hell we want to do. And then when the society become chaotic, they say, well, look how the black man has run this country. He can't govern himself. Which is it? You can't have it both ways. What he did was wrong in the country he decided to live in. He decided to live in, and he decided to subject himself to as a parliamentarian. No one else did that. He decided to swear on the Bible or whatever it is in South Africa, how they do to become a parliamentary and sit and be subject to the laws of the country. Now, because the law is working against him, we can say F the law. You can't have it both ways. I know I know people don't hear that, but the truth is the truth, man. I gotta tell you. If you're a revolutionary, you go to the bush like Mugabe did, like Nelson Mandela did, like several South African leaders in a different parts of South Africa, and you work for a better plan for your country. Don't sit in parliament along with the same people who you say oppress you and then say, well, okay, we gonna have it this way one day, and then we have it another way, and another day. Yes, you 80% of the population. You have no, you may be 80% of the population, but the boys in South Africa have 80% of all the guns and weapons and things or what they need to defend themselves against 80%. Pareto principle rules. Pareto principle. But like I say, I'm not trying to upset anyone tonight. Let's shoot the breeze. I'm just giving my opinion on the matter. I'll leave it there, Kuku.
Yeah. I actually think it wasn't palatable to the eyes. Me as a Jamaican, I know this type of vibe, and it is too hood. It is kind of hood. It's not a representation of what he does, and he should be more mature enough not to do something like that. Of course, as I said, it was a botch process, because he found loopholes around it, but he shouldn't have got himself in that position anyway as a politician. You feel me? And also, even for the revolution, more decorum could be upholded because of the security of the revolution. You feel me? And him what you'd call compromising himself like that, it stains his diplomacy. You feel me? And I didn't like that, but it shouldn't be such a gross charge for his status. You feel me? But anyway, as I said, this to put a positive spin on it, he's not going to get locked up. I don't see it. He spoke, and he said that, hey, we're gonna go on the EFF mission, and so I there's hope still. You feel me? I think he needs to take things more serious and more revolutionary, because to me he's getting soft, and he's getting what you'd call overwhelmed by the onslaught of evil. You feel me? Such as he got caught up in it. You feel me? How you have a white man handing you a pistol in the crowd of your own people. It's like who are your friends? What are you doing behind the cameras? Are you and white people so much friends that he be handing you pistols? It's like, what kind of people are we dealing with, man? Feel me? And that's how I look at it. Like, these people are not serious. They're not really. They should have their own black space where it's like no whites allowed. You feel me? In that place. It's like, and it's crazy in South Africa. I personally, on YouTube, anything called South Africa and right now Nigeria, I skip it. Don't want to hear nothing about none of the two of them. None of them. Don't want to hear nothing. Feel me? It's like hopeless. Both of them. That's how I see those two countries. That's it for
Um,
me.
in the chat, thank you for that. I can find in the chat. Trigger Happy responding to my Gavi question says in white man land, you need to be as quiet as a mouse as much as you can. Now, if we're being honest, the white man law got Gavi anyways, so this should also be considered. He goes on to say, I think there is something to say about maneuvering the law and being technical and precise, but understand that they will get you for even sneezing. That's how much they will manipulate. Real Black Gentleman says, I'm a rebel. Um, Soul Rebel, Little Bob Molly. Um, Provide Triggers asks a question. Are we then justifying the FBI's neutralization of the Black Panther Party because they carried guns for self-defense? Lord of Slaughter says he's not a rebel, he's a renegade. What else? What else was that? Earlier, Sister Liza, I hope I'm saying that right. She mentioned that if FBAs had the majority, right, or she called it ethnic Americans had the majority, there'll be some straightening out. And I think that's kind of the frustration is you black folks are the majority. Just say hell, just say hell no to that and push back, fight back. As Buana was I've said in the past, throw the stone. So anyway, let me continue with you guys on the panel. Cheryl or Bakari, who wants to speak next?
I'll go.
Yes, okay, Cheryl, go ahead.
So I just want to say something I didn't say earlier that kind of concerned me. And like, okay, so someone, I think Barnes said something about Mandela going to the bush and being revolutionary. That's a negative. He was you can't be a revolutionary and an integrationist. And I think that Malema, just from what I was listening to, he sounded like he was a little soft shoe. He was like he was soft shoeing a little bit for the white woman. He was just like, oh, well, she doesn't. You know, there's so many words. He said she don't understand the law and something about she. He was just making excuses for her. I'm like, I don't know if I heard that right. I don't know. It sounded like he was kind of like, well, she doesn't know, so that's why we have to teach them. No, no, that's civil. That's like that's integrationist talk to me. Like I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where he's standing. His politics. He speaks up for black people, and that's great. Like I'm always gonna like big up him for that. But like was it Ecan Fire? Like I think he hit the nail on the head with this one. You gotta look at people's politics, and if they're into uh defending people, talking about oh they just didn't know any better. Oh the boys, oh they just didn't know any better. No, no, that's what we be. That's what integration is. Black people do over here in America. Oh well, black people, oh the white people, they just don't know any better. We have to teach them. They don't need to be taught nothing. Okay, if you are the majority in your country, you choose what laws will be enforced and what laws will not be. You're not just I mean every country does that. Like I'm tired of people expecting black people to be like have the moral high ground all the time. I'm so sick of that. Oh, we always have to follow the rules exactly as they're written. When you're the majority in your country and you see that something is not right, when you see this board trying to give him 5 years, you speak up and you say something. It doesn't matter what kind of law is put in place. You're the majority, and the same goes for America. When white people choose all the time what laws they want to enforce, it doesn't matter if they did something wrong. It doesn't matter if the white boy ran up into the church and shot nine black people. If he's not going to get the maximum sentence, he's not going to barely get anything. Okay, and that's how you have to be with them in your country. Okay, and he didn't even do that. That's an exaggeration. Malema didn't even do that. He just shot a couple shots in the air and didn't hit nobody, didn't hurt nobody, didn't do nothing. And they trying to get him for 5 years. Boy, if you don't get out my face with that, you gotta start like sticking it to them, like making these heads roll, because they always trying to find loopholes and stuff for them to do to you. So you're never going to be safe. It doesn't matter if you follow the law or not. They're always going to try to get you. That's why I don't understand black people like this that think like this. I don't get it. Like, if you follow the rules, you keep your head down, everything's going to be great. In what world? In what universe? I just don't understand that.
In the chat, Trigger Happy says, well, think about it. I think he's responding to what I had said earlier. Think about it. White people know that, so they are more organized and put more effort and influence in the subconscious thinking of black people in South Africa. He goes on to say, it's no wonder that South Africans are majority black, but they are highly xenophobic against incoming black people. That means it's working. So, Lord of Slaughter adds, when you are in your country and the majority, the law is what you say it is. F the Constitution if I didn't write it. I like that, Lord of Slaughter. Bukai, you want to add something here?
Something I said before I talk about our imagination, right? Can you imagine yourself winning? Can you imagine yourself being a revolutionary without saying but? I watched the movie. I think I was talking to you about this, Coco. I watched the movie Dead President. I know I've seen it several times, but I watched it again about a month ago. It's a made-up movie. Your imagination. You know, robbing that bank, taking them folks' money, that's a revolutionary act, as far as I see it. But even in our imagination, we can't win. He got caught. He going to prison for 15 years, probably added some more after. Even in our imagination, we don't win. So if you can't even create a scenario where you win in your imagination, how can we win in real life? We don't have a conversation about what we need to do without somebody saying, but if we do that, they're going to do this. The reason we don't build, because look at Black Wall Street. All of that is always in our head. All of that is always in our head. But then we go to, we need other people to do it for us. If we can just get other people to join us, because we need allies. But you can't ally with your damn self. But you want somebody else to come and be your friend. Black men gonna have to let their nuts hang, get suited and booted, and be ready to do whatever it is you have to do in a country where you're 88% black. And I understand, but want to say they got 80% of the guns. Well, we 88% of the population. We should be able to overrun them. We got to understand in war, if you want to take something, you want
Shaka Zulu.
freedom ain't free. It's priceless, the same way your life is. So if you really want that, you got to understand, some of us ain't gonna make it. Some of us gonna fight, we gonna die, but our kids gonna be free. Our grandkids gonna be free. Breaking the law for your folks, those are one of the, far as I'm concerned, one of the greatest revolutionary acts. Yes, Garvey said respect the law of the land. Garvey understood the position that we were in here in America. Garvey also said one time during a speech, when he told them when the KKK, because people like to say he meant the KKK, and they forget when the KKK came to scare him and talking about what they'll do. Garvey said there's a lot of trees here for hanging, so let's get the lynching party started. He said if they're gonna lynch us here, we should be lynching them in Africa. You understand? Well, we are the majority. These people did a number on us. And I'm going to say it again. That's why I don't respect none of these channels, what these black men are on. And the only thing they can do is talk about what a black woman don't do. When the white man, the Arab man, the China man, and any other man on earth can come treat you like crap in your own land, can come to your neighborhood and treat you like crap here in the United States, can treat you like crap, but you had a damn nerve to act like you bad, to get on damn social media and want to ish on black women and get mad and say, you a simp. No, motherfucker. I ain't no simp. I'm that one who done challenged them. I'm that one who done stepped up in there in them damn meetings. He's a new black man. I don't plan to shoot back. I'm gonna shoot first. The same way I talk it here is the same way I walk it, just like I talk it. That's why I've been followed and followed and followed. That's why they followed me every day for a year. Start messing with my kids. The same thing I say. I ain't on here to fight black folk. I want to motivate black folk to understand we can do whatever it is we need to do and want to do without begging somebody else to come and help you. Help you with what? You ain't doing nothing. We helping them. They come sit in our neighborhoods and sell you that damn rat-fried rice and get rich. We ain't gonna help you with what we waiting on some. They took everything from us. I like to say they did a number on us here. They did a number on us around the world. They take everything from us. They took our damn minds. As much as I love and respect Garvey, I'll say the greatest leader ever walked the face of the earth. That's what I say, right? He said they can shackle the hands of men, they can shackle the legs of men, they can shackle the bodies of men, but they can't shackle the mind of men. I be damned if they have not shackled the mind of black African men. So I'm going to tell you again, but Wanda, you was right about what you said. But everybody up there who let Malema go to jail was absolutely wrong. Because if you truly want a revolution and you truly want your land, you're going to step there and say, come do it. I talk about this show. I don't know if y'all ever watched The Wire, right? With Avon Barksdale, Stringer Bell, then came in Marlo, Chris, and Snoop. I don't know if y'all ever watched that. But I remember them cops went back there to Marlo, who was the boss, who was one of the bosses. They went back there harassing him, telling them what they're going to do. Say, we're going to take you down. We're going to take you downtown. You need to come and go with us. Marlo saying ain't going nowhere. And as those three cops got closer, 2 white, 1 black, the 1 black cop knew what was going on. So he started looking around and he saw all those people that was with Marlo grab baseball bats and grab their gun. The cop said, well, the black cop talked them into leaving. Well, maybe we'll get you some other time. Sometime that's how you got to be. And it's just that damn simple. Or we can stay like this. Or let's start imagining ourselves winning. That's why Bwana said they got 80% of the guns. I ain't in South Africa. But how many times do I sit on here and talk about how we should have guns, how we should be training? I've been saying it for years, haven't I, Koku? Been saying it for years.
Yep.
We ain't prepared. We ain't trying to get prepared. The only people we prepared to fight is one another. And some of y'all only prepared to fight black women. On that note, I yield the mic.
Thank you, Brother Bakari. What's happening here is we are coming in at not even at the beginning of the South African situation. We are assessing South Africa after the fact. South Africa was a country that had many revolutionaries in it who eventually did fight a war against the Boers in South Africa. They fight with Nelson against the ANC, and they reached a stalemate in South Africa, right? So Nelson Mandela, along with other members of the ANC, sat down with the who was the former president of South Africa at the time, called de Klerk. They sit down together and created a South African constitution. So it ain't necessarily a white man or a black man law. They decided to formulate a different kind of South Africa, apart from the apartheid state, which was in South Africa. So this came with the agreement with the majority party, black party in the country at the time. That's the laws that you're dealing with. You aren't dealing with white man law. You aren't dealing with apartheid law. You're dealing with the agreement of Asian people who was living in South Africa at the time, the white people along with black people. Now some may say the black man should run the country, the hell with you all or whatever. Now this was discussed. This was discussed in South Africa, right? But the majority of people, after fighting against the Boers, there was, I don't know if the South Africans was tired of fighting. I don't know what it was. But after they came out of that experience, this is what they decided in South Africa to do. Now, the difference between them, what happened to South Africa is interesting. And what happened to Zimbabwe is exactly what y'all explaining. Because Mugabe say, the hell with y'all. The hell with y'all. The black man will run the country, the black man, whatever. We don't have a rainbow, none of that bullshit. We see what Ian Smith did to Zimbabwe, and we're gonna take over. What happened is a series of different things, and we could get into that. But I don't want to get into to what actually happened in Zimbabwe. Not only internally, like how when Idi Amin sent all the Indians out, and what happened to the economy. We ain't get it, but the external issues with the Zimbabwe government dealing externally with other people, not only in South Africa, but in the rest of the world. And what happened to that economy? You know, and the starvation, and now the fleeing. People decided to leave the country because the country, based off the economy crashing, they decided to run from the country. Now, I agree with you all, brothers and sisters. The question becomes, what was the black people doing prior to colonialism? Obviously, they created a system where they was able to farm their land and feed themselves. With the introduction with Ian Smith them or whatever, the economy turned from an agrarian economy where the black people was managing their own farms and things of that nature to commercialism. And then there was exporting food and for the exchange of money or whatever. When Mugabe came in, he said, bump that. We're going to upset this apple cart. Now, the Zimbabwe people who wasn't used to commercial farming, when they took over them lands, they didn't have the relationship with external partners. They didn't know how to. This is an unfortunate thing with us. And I don't want it to happen, but this is what happened in Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwe situation. So I agree. You should want to let, like Brother Bakari say, let your nuts hang in the country where you're the majority of population. But there are some details in that discussion that must be, you have to correct. When Kwame Nkrumah decided to liberate Ghana, he had enough doctors, he had enough engineers, he had enough people to take over from the British where the country would still be able to function even if the white administration had left Ghana. This is why Ghana is still right now a stable country as apart from many other countries. There are some details that I don't want to jump and I don't want to get into the weeds. I'm just saying that I agree with you all where you all looking at the situation. South Africa is a little bit of a different scenario. It's a little bit of different scenario, and I don't want to have this discussion coming in at the tail end trying to say, well, what is happening here? Why these things ain't happening? Why these things ain't happening? Why is this man being judged by this white judge, even though there are many black judges in South Africa as well? who probably would have given Julius Malema the same kind of sentence, you know, because they have laws in their country. But needless to say, like I say, I don't want to get into the weeds. It's shoot the breeze. Yeah, I will shoot the breeze. I will shoot the breeze. Yeah, but I'll leave it. I'll leave it.
Can I say something right quick?
Hold on, real quick. I just want to explain something too. When I asked the Gavi question, I just want to put that in some context too. Gavi didn't say that within the last 60 years. He said that 100 years ago. Meaning, we were, even in Africa, on the continent at the time, we were under the white man's laws. So I just want to put that out there, just to be clear. I'm not against what Gavi said, but I just want to put it in its context that when he said it, he wasn't just talking about America, but he was talking about all of us, actually. We were under colonialism. We were under other people's laws at the time. Bakari, but before Bakari goes, real quick, I have another topic here I wanted to discuss. Do you guys want to do one more topic after Bakari speaks? I'll take that as a no. Bakari, go ahead.
Well, what I wanted to say, when I was listening to Bawana, and he mentioned Zimbabwe, and he said the farmers in Zimbabwe didn't have the external connections, right? And I won't disagree with that, but I'm going to show you what they did. If people go back and look and see how Robert Mugabe was offering African-American farmers to come to Zimbabwe and pay them to teach the people to farm because they took everything from us. What they did was they put, sanctions on Zimbabwe, and no one would trade with them until they give the land back to the rightful owners. They said the white folks was the rightful owner, right, of the land. Now, this goes to my point. They put sanctions on you, and I know a lot of people stroke China and Russia. Where were they to come and partner and say, we will buy your produce, we can work with you? They'll never nowhere around unless they can get some out the deal. You'll never have an ally if you can't look at people that look like you and say, you're my ally. See, the sanctions would not bother no African nation, no Black African nation, if the Black African nation said what Mugabe said. When Mugabe said they put sanctions on us, if we of Black people in Africa, if Black countries in Africa start to work with one another, we don't need them. They need us. And what happened, the economy and everything got so bad. When I say these people are in it for themselves, all of a sudden, now here come Russia. Because he was also offering diamond mines to African Americans at a much cheaper price than he was offering. Russia came in because no African Americans came and bought them. Now, everything I'm saying was all on YouTube, and I'm talking about you could hear him saying it, not what someone else was saying, right? They were putting it on YouTube. So then all of a sudden, Russia come in. They weren't there to help. They came in and say, let us buy some diamond mines. So then they have to tell Russia, you can buy diamond mines, but this, the way the rules is going to have to be, the way you're going to have to pay the people, our people, 80% of the people that was in the diamond mines had to be Zimbabwean. You could not bring Russian people here because that's what they were trying to do. Zimbabweans had to be the supervisors. They had to be all that. But my point, I went through all that, but my point is, Nigeria should have looked at Zimbabwe and said, you know what, we'll work with you. Ghana should have looked at Zimbabwe and said, you know what, we'll work with you. Every African nation. But see, they have done such a job on us. We don't think we can do anything by ourselves. That's why we always searching out, trying to find somebody else who's going to do something for us. And sometimes we're going to just have to get up and do it and stop worrying about what they did in the past, what they might do right now, what they might do in the future, or is anybody going to help us? Is anybody going to do it? Sometime, man, we're going to just have to get up and do it, or the shit ain't going to get done. I hear the mic.
Appreciate that, Brother Bakari. Lord Assange says he just read an article that Israel has a law that prosecutes 500 children a year for throwing rocks. He says if you don't write the law, fuck the law. So Cheryl says telling Africans in an African nation they have to follow the law of the land when that law is juxtaposed next to Euro law, it's next level assimilation. You know what? Let's go to shout outs, man. Before anyone leaves the panel, I know
Okay, you had some people who wanted to continue.
People in the chat said
you have some people who wanted to continue. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, rock out.
One more topic.
Yeah.
One more topic. All right. Man, a really good conversation. I hope the brothers and sisters think about that conversation during the week. And when we come back around next week, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm saying this for Sister Liza. We're here every Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 to 11. Make sure to join us. But during the week, man, I want us to think about this stuff and come back with, with follow-ups, But in the meantime, the folks asked for another topic. Let's do another topic.